Hey y'all, back again with another Fuzzy Mud Read Aloud. I wanted to throw in here before I get started that I'm really enjoying y'all's discussions about how the narrator is changing how we view Chad. I'm glad you guys are thinking deep about this. Be sure to check back for your replies, and you can even reply back to me if you'd like so that we can keep the conversation going. You're doing a great job. Chapter 31, page 145. The chapter is called Wednesday, November 3rd, Evening. Marshall walked between Tamaya and Chad. Before we get started, one more thing. When we left off with the last chapter, Tamaya realized that she couldn't see because she was seeing dark, but it was still daytime, which I thought was super interesting. I just wanted to keep that in mind as we go forward. Marshall walked between Tamaya and Chad, an arm guiding each of them, because neither of them can see, right? He wore only one shoe, having given the other to Tamaya. It was way too big for her, but she was glad for the protection, even if it flopped a bit with every step she took. She could still see blurry shapes up close, just like Chad had described, but only if they were right in front of her face. She had lost track of time. She had no idea how far they'd gone and how much farther they had to go. "Do you know the way?" she asked Marshall. "I think so." "Look for a white tree with a branch that sticks out. It points the way back." "There are a lot of white trees." "Also, a big tall tree with wood planks nailed to it," she told him. "That's Chad's tree. That's how he saw us yesterday." "I have more than one tree," said Chad. "I climb up one, and then I see one that seems taller, so I climb up that one. I want to try to find the highest tree out here." "That's cool," said Marshall. "You think? I figured you'd all think that was stupid, like I was a little kid or something." "No, that's way too scary for a little kid," said Marshall. "Too scary for me," Tamaya agreed. "You? No way," said Chad. "You're not scared of anything. I'll take you guys up sometime. There are some boards at the top you can sit on." Once again, Tamaya could hear renewed energy in Chad's voice as he talked about his tree. "You can see for miles," said Chad. For miles? That was nice to imagine, considering she and Chad couldn't even see for inches. Marshall stopped suddenly. Tamaya felt him tighten his grip on her arm. Chad must have felt it too. "What's wrong?" he asked. "Shh," Marshall whispered. "I hear something." Tamaya listened. It sounded like a scattering of leaves and dirt. Something was moving, some kind of animal, or maybe several animals. "Chad," she whispered, "when you were up in your tree, did you really ever see the crazy hermit and his black wolves?" "I saw a guy with a beard. No wolves." The sound grew louder. There was definitely more than one animal. A dog barked. It was coming toward them. More barking from more than one dog. A dog barked right in front of Tamaya. She cringed, but then Marshall said, "It's not going to hurt you. I think maybe we're rescued." From a distance, she heard a man's voice call, "They went this way." She bent down and tentatively reached out to soft, warm fur. A wet tongue licked her face. "Oh, don't do that," she said, not wanting the dog to get her rash. "They're here," someone shouted, and the next thing she knew, there were lots of voices talking all at once. "Are you injured? How'd you get here? Did someone hurt you?" "They're both blind," Marshall said. "There's something bad in the mud out here." She heard what sounded like someone talking on a phone. "We got 'em. All three. 2 boys and 1 girl. We're going to need an ambulance. No, they said they weren't abducted, but we'll keep searching." Tamaya felt a hand on her shoulder. "You're safe now," said a man's voice. "I'm going to carry you back to the school, and then you'll be taken to the hospital." "Careful, I'm all covered in mud," she warned. The man chuckled and said, "A little mud never hurt anyone." That's ironic. You guys know what irony is? Irony is whenever you say something, but then the opposite is true. So, he said, "A little mud never hurt anyone." That's not exactly true in Tamaya's case. And Chad's. She felt his arms wrap around her, and he lifted her up off the ground. Tamaya was too cold and too tired and too sore to try to explain. It was too late now anyway. She let herself sink into his warm wool coat. He'd find out about the mud soon enough. They all would. As he carried her out of the woods, she asked the name of the dogs. "The one that you were petting is Missy, short for Miss Marple. We also have Nero, Sherlock, and Rockford, all named after famous detectives." "'Cause they're good at finding people?" "They're the best." I love dogs, said Tamaya. I'm going to stop right there. Alright guys, I've come up with a pretty creative idea for your read aloud response today. So I want you to tune into Flipgrid to see what it is and be ready to get creative.